Hello buddy, welcome back to the channel, and I've got my new friend Marty here, and I just met Marty the other day. He's one of my subscribers, so I really appreciate you sitting down and agreeing to share your story with me. And
no problem.
So when did you get here to the Philippines?
I arrived on the 15th of October.
15th of October,
Yeah.
You just got here. Now, have you ever been to the Philippines before?
I have. I've been here probably about 4 times before, but several years ago, long before COVID.
And you were just coming here for vacation or for?
I retired recently because of your advice, and so I plan on staying here for 3-4 months. I have to go back to wrap a bunch of things up to come here permanently, but I thought I'd come on a sort of a test run, see how I like it.
And so you're from Canada, right?
Yes, Vancouver.
Now, that's an expensive city, beautiful city.
It is.
I mean, I've been there many, many times, but it's very expensive.
It's very, very expensive, getting worse all the time.
They have kind of a drug problem there now too, and homeless people and stuff.
We really do, and I'm not sure whether legalizing those drugs, they're even legalizing some semi-hard drugs like cocaine in small amounts, and I don't really agree with it.
Wow.
You know, we're getting tents set up in parks, and it's not the same clean city it used to be. It's not as bad as Seattle, but it's getting that way.
It used to be such a pristine city. I used to walk all over that city.
Yes, yes.
Down the Gaslight District and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Granville Island is nice as well, downtown.
It's nice down there.
Yeah. It's changing, Mark.
So what's your reason? Is that one of the reasons why you don't want to live in Canada, retire in Canada, or like what are your reasons?
It is. All I did in Vancouver was work anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm used to the city. I've done all the hiking around there, and I've been to the Philippines before, and I know it's going to be a little rough around the edges for some, but I really enjoy it. I've traveled in Thailand before as well.
Yeah, I think the Philippines is great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your past. So you said that when you were younger, you were a pilot?
I was. That's what I was going to be, was an aviator, and I took my commercial course. My parents were retired and living in Victoria, BC. And I stayed with them and took my commercial license at Victoria Airport, which was very close to Sydney where they lived. Yeah.
So how old were you when you got your license?
I was about, 1976. So I guess I was about in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I managed to get a job by driving across Canada, knocking on doors. I sent out resumes, and when you have zero experience, nobody wants to talk.
It's hard to get jobs back then. We were talking about that off camera, and the baby boomers, there were so many of us. There's a lot of competition for every job.
Yeah.
And so you're flying these planes. What kind of planes were you flying?
It was all seaplanes. The first company I got a job with, it was in northern Ontario, and we had 12 outpost fishing camps. So each camp had a tent cabin on it and 6 aluminum boats, and all the customers had to bring was the fresh perishable food, steaks and stuff. So my job, I was based up in the north. We'd fly around to the camps and make sure the customers had their booze or whatever they happened to need. If the boat motor was broken, we'd fly in a boat motor. So
I was doing supply.
I was doing supply, but also somebody would get sick and I'd go in and bring them out. Just about anything. I was doing everything from washing dishes to making sure people buried their fish guts so the bears didn't come, And
so these planes, what kind of planes were these? I knew seaplanes, but how big were they?
A de Havilland Beaver can seat 4 people, and pretty well all the gear you can get in there, all the fish. You can put 2,000 pounds of moose meat in there.
Wow.
It's a single engine, 500 horsepower Pratt & Whitney, a radial engine. It's a famous old bush plane.
Very reliable then, huh?
Super reliable, and you pump the fuel into the belly. You don't have to climb up on top of the wing like you do with a Cessna. We had some Cessna 185s as well, and we had the old Beechcraft 18, which used to be a mail plane in the USA. We had some of those on floats.
Wow.
Yeah.
I imagine it must be special training though to land on water though. I mean,
it's a float endorsement, it's called, and yes, it's a whole different set of problems. When you're on wheels, you come in and land on a runway and your problems are over. You've got a nice, smooth, hard surface to land on. But when you're on floats, you've got to there's obstructions, rock reefs under the water. Sometimes there's no dock. I'd have to bring the guys into a beaver dam. And I'd have to jump out of the plane, run down the wing, and tie up to a beaver dam. No such thing as a stewardess out there. And get the door open and get the customer safely off the plane.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of experience and a lot of practice to get really good at it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And of course, the water's not always calm because I've
No.
been that part of the world before. It can be really choppy
Yes.
and rough.
Yes, and sometimes, especially in the Arctic where I worked, if the weather got bad, you didn't turn back. You just landed and waited it out. You waited it out, so nobody knew where you were. There's no way to call anybody and tell them
You
where
just
you were.
landed in any place that would work then.
Yeah, there's so much water up there. You just land in a place where you could see there was a sheltered bay you could taxi into, and I drop an anchor. Sometimes
kidding.
sleep overnight on the airplane.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a gun, I had a rifle, and I had food with me all the time because you never knew when you get into a situation.
Did you ever fly at night?
I never did commercially because on floats there's no night flying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to be on the water 30 minutes after sunset.
Interesting.
They can violate you if they catch you out there after dark. Seattle used to have a night runway for float planes. It was actually a sewage runoff, but they put lights on it so float planes go in, but it's not in existence anymore. It was short-lived.
Is sewage runoff there into the ocean?
It was like I don't know, it was like a water processing plant thing.
So it
and
was treated water.
It was treated water, and it was probably about 100 feet wide and 5,000 feet long. And they thought, well, let's make this into a night float plane runway. So it was short-lived, unfortunately. But,
Did you ever have any close calls with things, like near crashes or anything?
I had an engine failure on takeoff, and this was in the Arctic, and real simple. I had water in front of me. I just put the nose down, and as soon as I pulled the mixture, which controls the fuel, as soon as I shut the fuel off, the fire went out. And the lady in the back seat was hysterical. I said, "Lady, we're going to be okay." And I got on the radio and called the tower and said it's emergency landing. And they sent out 2 boats to pull me in, and that was it. And the mechanic said, "Thank you for not pulling. There's a fire retardant switch.
Yeah.
If you pull that, and it shoots this dry chemical, and it takes them about a week to clean that engine out to get it to work and run again." So I didn't need to do that because I could see the fire was under control just by shutting off the fuel.
So, in Canada, have you ever been married? You got a family, or?
Yes, I was married. I've got a grown-up daughter who's 27 now, just turned 27, and I have a couple of sons as well who live in different cities than I do.
So, what are their thoughts about you coming to the Philippines and living here?
They're pretty well okay with it. My daughter's a little bit. She doesn't talk to me as much as she's an adult now, and she's got her friends in her life, and she just went to Europe with her mother for a month. So she said goodbye and that, and she doesn't really offer that much of an opinion. So.
I meet so many guys here that, a lot of them had they said when their kids were growing up, they had a great relationship and they went to good schools and vacations and everything was wonderful. And then the kids went off, got married, and they have their own life, and they see less and less and less and less of their kids and their family and their grandkids. And next thing you know, like maybe they're seeing them, they get a card on Father's Day, maybe a phone call on Christmas, and and less contact with their family, and they're getting lonelier and lonelier.
Yes.
Because they got nobody in their family, their friends have died off or moved away.
Yes.
And they find themselves just sitting there at home and doing the same thing over and over, until you're just waiting to die, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like I was heading in that direction. I was still working. I'm 70 years. I'm going to be 71 in March.
I told you before, you look great for your age.
Thank you, Mark.
You ever had any health problems, like heart problems or anything like that?
No, I got some. They did a scan, and I was having chest pains, and they said your heart's fine. He said, but you got some arteries that are blocked or partially blocked. So they given me statins, and I don't like them. The statins, they're go to your liver and control the cholesterol your body produces.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I don't take them either.
I don't like them.
What about a stent? They talk about putting stents in?
They told me, the doctor told me, the heart doctor, he said, if you feel that you're not comfortable walking around with the restricted breath and everything else, you come and see me, we'll do the stent. And we're going to leave it totally up to you. So that's the way they left it. And so far, so good. I haven't felt the need to get that done, because that's a procedure that has risk as well.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah. And so if you decide you did want to get the stents, you can always go back to Canada and get that that done for what, for free or close to free? Or
free.
To get that done for free, which is good because it's a very expensive operation.
That's right. Yeah.
I've never had a stents, but I've been put under. You know, I've had heart surgery and stuff, so I know what that's like.
Yes.
But the stents, when you have the angiogram, you know, they can do it that way. You know, and you're basically partially awake, and they put them in, so
Right.
it's no big deal. You go home the next day.
Yes. My brother had one up. They put it up through his groin somehow.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's what
Yeah.
they did with me. Yeah, I didn't get a stent, but that's how they found out I had serious heart problems.
Oh.
And so, you're here for how many months again?
I think I'll stay till, in Vancouver it's 2 degrees right now. I
Yeah,
think
right.
I'll wait until March. So I'll stay 3 or 4 months. I've got everything financially all set up. I'll be okay that way. Yeah, so I'm in no hurry to go back.
So when you did go back, though, what's the plan? Or you haven't decided yet?
I've got a commercial place that I rent out, but I'm renting my apartment. I had a condo what I sold, so
Yeah.
I'm paying rent there. So basically, my place is sitting there with all my stuff. I would go back and I would eliminate all that stuff, or most of it, as much as I could, and get rid of that rental place before I came back here on a more.
Are you going to
permanent-
send anything over to the Philippines or ship anything over here?
I would, yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
do that box thing you told me about. Bantayan,
Yeah, ballot buy-in boxes.
Balan, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's many ways to do it, but yeah, that's what I did too. And so, when you go back this next time and wrap things up, then we'll be coming back here. You think it'll stay for good, or are you going to be
I think I
having
would-
one foot in each country?
No, I think I'd come back and stay for good. I think I would make this my primary place
Yeah.
and go back there to visit. I
Yeah.
would just switch things around.
What's the flight like back and forth from here to there?
It's 14 hours nonstop.
one plane, one flight?
One plane.
Oh, you're lucky. That's good.
I know. To Vancouver, we're positioned really the closest to Asia,
Yeah.
being right on the west coast. So they fly northwest up Vancouver Island,
Yeah.
past the Aleutians in Alaska.
Which is where that volcano went off that fucked me up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's 14 hours nonstop. Philippine Airlines. I think there's 3 flights a week.
It's not bad.
They land in Vancouver in the afternoon, then they fly to New York and drop off and pick up people there, and they come back. And on the way back at midnight, they go back to the Philippines. So I got on that midnight flight. About
Yeah.
$800.
Wow, that's a great deal.
It is a great deal. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, yeah, I paid $3,500
Wow.
for round trip. Coach.
Wow.
Coach.
But Mark, they wouldn't. We're not allowed to fly on a one-way ticket into the Philippines. That's what they told me.
No, sure you are. All you got to do is get what's called a throwaway ticket.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I found a ticket. There's some expats here that have
Yeah.
have a thing that they do, but I
Yeah.
didn't. I just went online and found a trip to Hong Kong for $60.
Yeah, I got mine for $12.
Oh, did you?
You're basically like, and also someone told me with one of the credit card companies, it might be Citibank, that you can go on their website and rent a ticket.
Oh, wow.
You rent it.
Yeah.
And you don't actually ever use it, and they'll accept that at the airline.
Wow. Fantastic. Yeah.
But see, I don't need that because I've got a 13A visa, so I'm a resident here.
Oh, right. But it was weird sitting in my room and saying, "Hey, your flight leaves in 3 hours." I'd forgotten all about it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
Sure.
So, what are your thoughts being back now? Like, you know, you're here, you're looking around, thinking like, you know, am I going to stay here the rest of my life or what? I mean, any second thoughts or any cold feet or?
Not really. No, I've met some real nice people, mostly Americans.
Yeah.
I haven't met another Canadian here. I don't think many come because they wouldn't take my money at the currency exchange. They say only U.S., British pounds, and euros.
Well, they're real picky about money here in exchange. Even if it's got like a tiny little imperfection, they won't take it.
Wow.
So-
Yeah. But as far as the people, the Philippine people are fantastic, and I remember that from the past.
Yeah. Very friendly.
Really nice, and things here are a little odd. I mean, you wait in line. Things seem to be a little slower and not quite as organized, and I'm totally okay with
They
that.
like paperwork. Like everything's got paperwork for
Oh
everything.
yeah, yes.
But
So you just have to be a bit flexible. But as far as having a place to, there's so many nice things around here to do as well.
Yeah.
I love scuba diving,
the best of the best in the world.
and I carry my camera with me everywhere. And my intention is to make a photo book.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of my photography, even in U.S. coffee table books. Some
Oh, nice.
shots I took in Guatemala and that. So
Oh, wow.
I intend to do that here. I carry the camera with me everywhere I go.
Nice.
And I got some real nice street photography when I was in Manila for 3 weeks before I came down here.
Well, there's websites. I'm not familiar with the name of them are, but there are websites where you can post your pictures, and then if people want to use them, they pay you like a small
Yes,
amount.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
make a little bit of money.
They call that stock photography.
Yeah.
To make a living at it, you have to have about 250,000 images. You have to have a real lot, but you can make a small
I
amount.
mean, a little extra
Yeah.
money goes a long way in the Philippines.
Sure. Yes, that's right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And so, how long have you been single?
20 years.
20 years. Wow. You haven't dated at all, or you don't?
That was one of your questions. You said, when was the last time you had a date? And I thought, when was that? I had to think about it.
Well, why is that? You're not interested?
No,
or?
I'm interested. The women that are my age, Mark,
Yeah. They have a lot of baggage.
they have attitude.
Yeah.
They have attitude. Now, there's a little local pub I go to near my place, and there's a whole bunch of them in there. And I enjoy conversation with them and talking to them, but I wouldn't think about taking them out or taking them home, you know. It's just, and the younger ones, you look at them, they think you might call the police on you.
Yeah.
You know, they have that attitude as well.
Well, I say, like, for myself, when you're our age,
Yeah.
you become invisible.
Oh, yes, that's
You
right.
go to the mall and people just don't notice you at all.
No, no.
You're literally invisible. Whereas here in
Yeah.
the Philippines, probably because we're foreigners, but we kind of stand out,
Yes.
and people notice us, and they're friendly, and they respect not foreigners, but senior citizens here.
Yes.
And they'll put you in the front of the line.
Yes,
like
that's
when
right.
when I flew back from America, I get through immigration. There's thousands of people. I go, great, this is going to take hours.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw a sign that said seniors.
Wow.
And so I just went underneath the ropes there and went in that line. There was like 30 people there and went right through because I was a
Fantastic.
senior.
That's
So,
great.
They
That's
treat
great.
you right here.
No, people tell me, oh, they just want your money. Sure, you can go out with a younger girl, but I don't believe that.
I don't believe that
I
either.
don't believe that. I see it, and people are genuinely, they're not looking to get my money. They're genuinely happy, friendly people walking by, even people walking by with their husbands in that.
Well, I have-
smile at you.
Because of my channel, I know
Yeah.
so many men here. I mean, dozens and dozens.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are in relationships, either married or live in relationships, serious relationships, and they're all happy.
Yeah.
And people say, well, she just wants your money. Well, first of all, if you go anywhere in the world, Canada or America,
Yeah.
and you talk to a woman and say, well, before you'll date a guy, what are some of the requirements that he would have to have? And one of the first things they'll say, he's got to be financially secure
Yeah, that's right.
or have a job. And that's true
Sure.
around the world. A woman wants a man who
They-
can take care of himself and take care of her.
Yeah.
And it's been that way since the Stone Age.
Sure, they want security.
Yeah. And
Security.
so to sit there and say these Filipinas are,
Yeah.
just after your money, no, they just want a man who can be a good husband and father and take care of them.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
You
no,
know, they're not
No.
scammers.
no.
And so, and also here in the Philippines, it's totally acceptable for an older guy or older woman to be with someone way, way younger. They don't think anything bad about that at all.
No.
And it's acceptable here.
It might bother us because of our stigma from where
Yeah,
we're from,
yeah.
but it doesn't seem to bother them.
No.
I was chatting along with this one girl who's only in her 22 or 23, and I said, well, I would like to meet your family. If I was your father, I might feel a bit funny about you dating a guy so much older than you.
That's a bit too young. You need to go older than
Yeah,
that.
oh yeah, for sure.
There's lots of women here, like in their late 20s or 30s, even
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah.
And what about, how do you feel about dating somebody who has children?
I don't think I'd really like to do that.
Yeah.
It's just because I've got some of my own in
Yeah.
Canada, and I think I would
You
never.
sit that over there?
Sure. I don't think I'd ever be top priority. I think I'd always be second or third.
Well, that's true. If someone's got a child, the child is first, and that's the way it's
Yes.
supposed to be.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I think,
So you're looking for someone that doesn't have children. Maybe their children are grown and gone.
sure. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be fine.
Yeah.
Just to have I was tied down for so many years working, Mark. I worked 5 years past the normal age of
Yeah.
retirement, so I want to be able to have the freedom to jump up and move if I want to go not
Yeah.
necessarily every day, but to be able to not be tied down, to be able to have
I mean,
that
what,
freedom.
tied down to a relationship or what?
Well, no, just to, if you have children, a woman that has children,
oh, right.
you wouldn't be able to just take off to Sigahor Island or
Yeah, I
something
get it.
like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure if that's what you want, you'll find the right person.
Sure.
There's a guy I met that interviewed not long ago. He was 87.
Wow.
Came here from England.
Yeah.
Found somebody. He's living in a house up there in the mountain and
Fantastic.
happy. He said back in England he was just waiting to die,
Wow.
and he's very happy.
Sure. So he's
And,
got a second chance at life here, kind of.
Well, another guy I met who has since passed away. He was a pilot, commercial pilot. Also, he taught or trained helicopter pilots during Vietnam, and
Oh,
he's a really
wow.
interesting guy, Gordon
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yes.
And he came here when he was 70, met a nice lady, got married. They had a child together, a little girl, and that little girl was like the apple of his eye. It's like he just loved taking her to school and being with her and everything.
Fantastic.
And unfortunately, he passed away. He had an aneurysm in his stomach.
Oh.
But he left them set up. Like apparently, his wife is getting his pension, and he built a house for him, and he paid for the girl's education through college, and
Yeah.
so they're fine. And what I tell a lot of guys is that when they meet these younger women, they know, you got to have the conversation about dying. I mean, you're going to die long before they do.
Yes.
And so you have to prepare for that.
Yeah.
And the guys that I know, my friends, their whole goal is to make sure that when they're gone, their wife or girlfriend is way, way better off than if she'd never met them.
Right.
And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
meeting them, even though they passed away, their life, they brought them up several levels
Sure.
economically and everything,
That's right. Yeah.
And then you have a clear conscience about the whole thing.
Sure, exactly. And that's the way your situation is. Your wife is going to be fine when you're...
Yeah, you can't take it with you anyway.
No, you can't. You
so,
can't.
So that's the way I feel about it.
Sure. I agree with you.
So let's see, what else? So in your life, what's the hardest thing you've ever had to go through? You think about it.
I had a sister that died in a hospital, a boiling, scalding water accident.
Oh my God.
Died in the hospital. If it happened today, there'd be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, but it happened in Alberta. She was older than me, but she was in the hospital, and I was only about 4 years old at the time, but it was something that we've never...
How did that happen then?
It was something to do with the nurses running hot water or something, or she had access to a valve that opened this scalding hot water.
And she got sprayed with her?
Yeah.
Oh God. And there was no kind of lawsuit or settlement or... Unbelievable.
I know.
Wow.
It was pretty
That is hard.
bad.
Well, also in your life, like on another note, like what's like, you look back on your life, you're 71, you look back and say like, what's like the best decision you've ever made or the best thing that ever happened? You think, well, I'm so glad I did that.
Well, I'm really happy that I achieved the training that I got, commercial flying, and writing that exam, especially the instrument rating exam, is a very, very complicated, exactly the same exam that the airline pilots have to take. And I was very proud that I got a real high mark on that. It's 100 multiple choice questions, and every question depends on the preceding question. So if you make a mistake, you can run through 10 answers and have an incorrect answer. So I was very proud to achieve that success I had with that, not the commercial license itself and the instrument rating.
And so you walked away from flying there. Like, when's the last time you actually flew a plane?
About 7 years ago, a doctor friend...
Oh, 7 years ago. That's
Yeah.
not long.
No, a doctor friend of mine has a nice twin, and I actually took my license with his son. His son has a dump truck company now. Doesn't even like to fly, so this doctor likes to sit and have a drink with his friends and get me to fly the plane. So I like it because it kind of keeps me involved.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
my health is still okay. When you're over 60, you have to have a medical every 6 months.
Wow.
To make sure that if you're taking passengers especially.
That was like when I worked on cruise ships. I was an officer too, and I had to have an extensive medical every year.
Yes.
In
My
case of
doctor
emergency,
says
you had all these things to
you
do.
can get the medical, no problem, but he says it ain't free.
Yeah.
The government doesn't pay for those. You have to
Right.
pay for that yourself.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, I think you're going to do fine here, and you're going to like it. And there's so many nice people here, and you'll find that people just come. It's like yesterday. I saw one of my friends came up and introduced himself to you.
Sure.
And
Yesterday I was on the beach and I met all kinds of friendly American and Australian guys, and just sit with them and they just join us, sit down and.
Because you go other places and when a stranger walks up to you, they're trying to sell me something or rip me off, or it's a scam or whatever. And here it's just like, I've never seen you before.
Yeah, that's right.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
And they're curious about you.
Yes, exactly.
And it makes you feel wanted that there's total strangers that are interested in your life. They want nothing from you at all.
No.
They're just curious, well, who are you? And maybe you'll be my friend.
Mark, we don't get that in Vancouver anymore.
We don't get that in America either.
No.
No.
People aren't interested in you on the street, or it's just everybody's got their own everybody's on the phone.
Yeah, everybody's on their phone. Well, you find that here too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, it's like I've never lived anywhere in my life where I've had so many friends. And you're constantly being invited to do this, to do that,
Sure.
come over to dinner, go out, and it's really nice because you're not. The only way you're going to be lonely here is if you isolate yourself on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
But I think, and my advice to you is also like really look around for a place to rent, and
Yes.
be picky. If you're going to spend your money anywhere and splurge, splurge on your home.
For sure.
If you're going to say, well, that's a little more than I'd like to spend. Like I spend the most on my home, and then because you have a nice place to come home to, and it makes you feel better. Get friends
for sure.
over.
I've got a real crappy Airbnb right now, and it's paid for till the 20th. So I've still got time to find a place, and I've got a couple of friends that I've met that are going to show me around, including Sebastian.
Oh, good. Yeah, Sebastian is all around. Yeah.
I just have to keep him sober a little bit.
Yeah,
He gets started pretty early. I noticed that.
Yeah, he quit for a while, but he's back into it. Yeah.
So I have to catch him sometime, either when he's done his nap in the afternoon or real early in the morning.
Yeah. Well, his girlfriend Jenny also knows a lot.
Oh.
She can show you around. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he doesn't live too far up the.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he
road.
keeps moving around, but.
He said go rent a trike, but one of the other guys said no, the trike driver doesn't know anything. He said you're better to go with Sebastian because he does know real estate.
Yeah.
People that are renting and selling real estate and all that. So.
Yeah. But you won't be looking to actually sign a lease until you come back, right?
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So I would, if I'd like to get a place, say month to month for 3 months, something like that.
I do month to month everywhere.
Yeah.
But have you been up to Valencia yet?
No, I haven't.
Go up there and go check out Dulce Vita
Oh yes.
and Big Rock.
Okay.
Those two places, and they're both about the same price.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're nice.
So if I have a scooter, I could rent up there.
Oh, it's one road.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Literally one road. It's
Yeah.
easy to get there.
That's where Paul lives up there, doesn't he?
Doesn't live. He used to live in Big Rock. He's got a house up there somewhere. I've never been to his house. I don't know. So anyway, best of luck to you, and I'm sure you get to see
Thanks,
more
Mark.
of you. And
Thanks.
thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Bye.